I understand what people say, oh, it's all the same. But, you know, you might as well just say that the Stones are all the same. You know, I ain't buying it. What's going on, gang? Zakk Wylde, Black Label Society, Pantera Celebration, Ozzy Osbourne, Experience Hendrix, Zakk Sabbath. I do dishes and laundry as well. And we're all doing the hang with Metal Hammer over here, talking about our 5 favorite riffs and solos. Riffs, I think riffs of all time, you'd have to go, because I think all, you know, us rock metal guys or, you know, rock guitar player you would have to learn would have to be Smoke on the Water. As soon as you hear that riff, it's just like, wow, you know, it just, the simplicity of it and how powerful it is. Just amazing. It was Sabbath, and then I found Zeppelin, and then Deep Purple after that. But yeah, but I mean, but like you said, it's not so much that, I mean, aside of the great musicianship of all 3 bands, it's just great songs, just song power. And, you know, and all these iconic riffs, but I mean, it's just the great performances by all the guys, the vocals, the bass playing, the drumming, and the production on the album, just timeless. I guess if you took Sabbath, it would be probably Paranoid. You know what I mean? Just down, down, or Iron Man. We'll go Iron Man. You know, just down, 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 dun, 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 you know, because you can play these riffs on one string. That's how iconic and classic they are. That's the great thing about Ozzy singing. It's just like, a lot of times, you know, he'll sing the riff if the riff's that powerful. Like instead of Ozzy, I mean, because Ozzy could go, there's other options Ozzy could, you know, take. He could go, I'm gonna make it more of a, you know, he could have went, instead of going, has he lost his, he goes, has he lost his mind? You know, like just a long note over it, you know, but, or a staccato thing, you know, and instead I'll just sing the riff, you know, and from all the years of me playing with Oz, like whether it was Miracle Man, Crazy Babies, Perry Mason, No More Tears, Mama I'm Coming Home, it usually would always be the first thing that came to his head. Very, very rarely did he go, I got to come up, I don't like what I'm singing. I got to come up with something better. I don't like that. Very rarely. It would happen, but I mean, but very, usually it'd be out of 10 songs, like 9 or 8 out of 10, he'd knock it out of the park. It would just, whatever you're hearing on those records is pretty much the first melody. He's like, play it again, Zakk. You know, I'd play the riff or whatever, Miracle Man, and he'd go, right away. Wow. And, you know, even No More Tears, dun, 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 dun. I remember when we had that, dun, 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 and what I'll sing in between the riff, right? It was like, yeah. Then I goes, all right, play it. Dun, dun, and then, dun, 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 it, right away. So I could only imagine when they did War Pigs, you know, and it was just going to be a you know, a cappella thing, like No More Tears. I'd when we stopped, sing something. They'd probably, you know, the first thing he sang, which is mind blowing. Yeah. So I mean, he's just really the king of the melody. I mean, whether it's his love for the Beatles, you know what I mean, yeah. And just him hearing all these amazing melodies all the time, but it's just his knack for singing, like Symptom of the Universe, is just mind blowing. Yeah. You know, just that because Oz wouldn't know whether it's major or minor. It's like, Oz, you know that's minor or whatever, going over a major, and he's like, Zakk, I have no idea. I just know it sound. To me, I like the sound of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like if he was putting whatever in the soup, it's like, Oz, you know, what did you put, Tabasco? And he goes, well, I like the Tabasco, but not too much. I put a little bit of that in there, some cilantro, and a little bit of lime. And it's like, wow, this tastes really good. You know, he's like, yeah. I thought, you know, together they taste really good. It was like, wow, I would have never thought of that. You know what I mean? So, and he's just going on what sounds good to him, you know, which is really, I mean, that's a gift. No, because that's what everybody always says. Well, Oz, you know, I remember when somebody would just go, because obviously they're not musicians, so they wouldn't know how the car is being built. You know, if you're not a mechanic and you don't know what you're talking about. But I remember like people were like, oh yeah, well, Ozzy, you know, the music and this and that. And I go, You really have zero clue what you're talking about. Because it doesn't matter how good the riffs are and the music, you got to have a vocal line over the thing. Otherwise, it's just sitting there. It's a blank piece of canvas. You know what I mean? It needs a vocal line over this stuff. You know, whether it's, I mean, all the songs we love, whether it's a Beatles song, a Stones song, a Sabbath song, Zeppelin song, whatever, you got to have the vocal line over it. We'll probably have to go with Whole Lotta Love. Obviously, you got to play that one. So that's 3. Look at Jimmy. I mean, it's just like between his, the Rain song. I mean, he could have quit right after that one. That's lights out, game over right there. That's Hall of Fame worthy right there. Just the Rain song with the tuning on that and the whole nine, and just the composition. But then again, like you said, with what Robert sang over it is just phenomenal. I mean, for me, I remember, it was a big deal when I learned it. Was I guess these two, and these are more chord song kind of thing. But I remember it was a major breakthrough when I was down, 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 da da bam, down, down, ba ba da da down. C G D A E is Hey Joe by Jimi Hendrix. That was a big one. Well, also, Jimmy, I'm sure a lot of the stuff, if they had the riffs, it's just like, all right, let me figure out what I want to sing on this. You know what I mean? As opposed to singing and playing at the same time. He might have actually sat down, just wrote Purple Haze and sang, or else, the other way of doing it is just like, where you write the music and you go, let me listen to it and see what it inspires. You know what I mean? And then, then you got to go back and you got to sit and practice playing, because obviously you're approaching it like a singer. You know what I mean? So I'm sure that would be an interesting question to ask Jimi Hendrix. Like, Jimmy, when you wrote this one, did you write it sitting down, singing and playing at the same time, or did you write the music first and then go sing, and approach it like what you want to sing on this thing? Yeah. That would be a good question. Yeah. And then another big one was obviously Back in Black. When I was able to, I couldn't play the lick. So, but eventually when once, like you said before, you practice it enough and then you get around to doing it. Something that's super difficult, and then you practice, and then you get it a little bit more every day. So it would have to be the lick in Back in Black. So, and then you can play along with the record, and you're like, oh my God, this sounds amazing. So, let's be real. Whole Lot of Rosie's a lot different than Back in Black. And Hell's Bells is different than You Shook Me All Night Long. You know what I mean? I think I understand what people say, oh, it's all the same. But, you might as well just say that the Stones are all the same. I ain't buying it. Start Me Up is completely different than Street Fighting Man. And Can't You Hear Me Knocking is different than Wild Horses. You know what I mean? So it's like saying Mama, I'm Coming Home sounds just like Miracle Man. Two different songs, man. Yeah, you got the chords, but to actually have your fingers move to be able to play the lick, to have to do finger exercises and everything like that, just getting a grasp on the instrument. No, it took a while, but anybody will, when you start playing and then you get, like you said, get a little bit better and better every day. Like Dorian Yates didn't just start off as Dorian Yates, 6-time Mr. Olympia. You know what I mean? It was just, a little bit every day. You just put another brick on the empire. Yeah. But, no, those 5, I guess, they're just massive. I think the simplicity of it, whether it's Into the Void, The Ocean by Zeppelin, down, 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 that's great. Just or Heartbreaker, with Zeppelin, Into the Void with Sabbath. I think the simplicity, and then it goes back to Smoke on the Water. You're looking at 3 notes. Dan, 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 dan. It's phenomenal. But the simplicity of it. Like when we're with Dime, with Walk, dun, 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 dun. It's just like lights out. And look at, what do we got? 2 notes going on here? I mean, you know, and same thing with Black Label, you know, with Stillborn, that's one note. You know, I mean, so let's see what you can do. And I mean, you know, with the chorus and everything, there's four actual notes in that song. Actually, probably no, three, because you got it's four. F sharp, and then the chorus is F sharp, D, E, and B. So that's that. So you got four notes in that the whole song. But then, you know, you take something like the Kinks, You Really Got Me Now, you know, it's the same thing, just going up. Yeah. It's phenomenal. I'm just saying, when you break it down to say, you don't realize that you're only listening to the same riff over and over, just ascending. You really don't realize it when you're listening to it, because it's just, and once again, the vocal line that's over it, and it's phenomenal. There's just as much, I mean, that's an art form in itself, taking something that simple and making it, it's like you said, there's so much going on with so little stuff going on, you know what I mean? So it's a great meal, and there's really not a lot of ingredients. Same type of thing, yeah.